Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial video. On this video, we'll be learning how to draft different types of neckline. So the first one is the keyhole neckline, V neckline, square neckline, one shoulder neckline, U neckline, boat neckline, asymmetric neckline, and I think one more, the last one, I was too fast there. So the first things first is to draft out your shoulder measurement. When you draft out your shoulder measurement, you mark out your neck measurement. That's 3 inches wide, 3 inches deep. That's the standard measurement for neck, right? So then you go to your shoulder slope, you come down by 1 inch, connect it to your neckline, and then you mark out your armhole depth, right? I'm using 9 inches as my armhole depth. Then you mark out your armhole depth, connect your lines together like so, and then now to get our neckline, I always mark out my chest line or my client's chest line. Why will you mark out your chest line? It serves as like a guide. This line is either you call it your chest line or your overbust line. It serves as a guide. Some clients will want their cleavage to show on some of their necklines. Some clients don't want their cleavages to show. So if you know the chest line of your client, it will help to guide you to know how many inches deep you create a neckline for your client. So we are creating this keyhole neckline, and then I don't want the cleavage to show on this tutorial. You get? That's why I'm creating the semicircle to be on top of the chest line, as you can see. But if I'm making it for a client that wants her cleavage to show, that means I have to come down below the chest line. Do you get? So I came down for this one by 4 inches. You can decide to come down by 6 or by 5 inches, depends on you, on your client. Then you mark out your neck curve, as you can see on the video. So this is how to draft out your keyhole neckline. So I'll just cut it out for us to see how it's meant to look, how it's supposed to be, right? So guys, please, if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the subscription button, like, comment, and share the videos if it was helpful to you. So this is how to draft out your keyhole neckline, and we will now go to the second part of the neckline, different types of neckline, right? So now when I open it up, this is how it's going to look. So this is a keyhole neckline. It's very easy for you to draft. So can you see on my illustration paper and on the paper I've already drawn it on is the same thing. So this is the keyhole neckline. And it's also good for designers to know the names of different types of necklines, so that you'll be a professional. You sound professional. Do you get? So now it's time for us to draft out the second type of neckline, right? So the first things first, you will always mark your shoulder line. You will always mark your shoulder slope, right? And then you always mark your 3 inches wide, 3 inches deep, because it's the standard measurement. That's what will help you. It will be like a guide for you to create any neckline that you want to create. So the next one, I'm going to still mark my chest line. Always know that this chest line is just as a guide for you as a designer to know if you ask your client, do you want this neckline do you want to reveal your cleavage? Do you want it to be above? Do you understand? So this V neckline, I came down by 6 inches, as you can see, and then I marked it. Very easy. Can you see? I just slanted it to the neckline I've already created before. So I'll cut it out. This is very simple. This is a simple V neckline. Can you see? So now you can decide to go down. How deep, it all depends on your client. but this is just the basis. This is how to draft out your V neckline. Now you can decide to come down. As you can see in this illustration, I came down below the chest line. Can you see? Right? So now the first one is a normal V neckline, while this second longer line, we'll call it a plunging V neckline. That's the V neckline that is revealing a little bit of our cleavage or our bust area. Can you see the V neckline like so? So this is how to draft your V neckline. If you have a question, please post it on the comment section and I'll try my best to explain. So now you see the depth of this particular one. I made it to be under the bust. Under, as in it came down below the chest line. So what we call this particular one is a plunging V neckline. It's revealing a lot. So if your clients want something like this, then you know that you are giving your client a plunging V neckline. So the next one we are going to be drafting is another type of neckline. Can you see? I'm just explaining it well. It's deeper than the normal V neckline. So we'll be drafting another neckline, the same measurement. You take your shoulder measurement, you mark out your 3 by 3 inches for your neckline. That's the basis for drafting a standard neckline. 3 inches wide, 3 inches deep. Then it's the neckline that you want to create that will determine how wide you want your neckline to be. Do you get how wide you want it to be? So I first of all mark the standard first so that it will be like a guide for me. Do you get? I'll just mark it so that it will be like a guide for me. So if you're a beginner, you should also mark it out so that it will be like a guide for you too. Do you get? Since you're also drafting it on a paper, right? So now I've already marked it out like so. I'm going to come down 6 inches. Can you see? And then mark it on a straight line. What am I cutting? I'm cutting a square neck. What do they even call it? Yes, 4-cornered neck. Yes, 4-cornered neckline. Can you see? Now you can decide to use that 3 inches wide, 3 inches deep as your neckline, or you can decide to dip it the more. It depends on what your client wants. Client is king, so whatever your client wants, that's what you give to your client. If they say they want it to be wider, more open, you open it up the more. So this is how to draft your square neckline. So hope we understand, guys. This different neckline, you can use it for different outfits. Do you get? You mustn't be using only the round neckline or the circular neckline. No, you have to alternate, do different types of neckline. Please, if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe, guys. So we want to draft another type of neckline. So I'll do the normal ritual basis, 3 inches by 3 inches. Now some people will be saying, why am I taking it step by step like this? So that a beginner can be able to understand it. That's why I'm taking it like this. If not, I can just start drafting the neckline for you just on paper. I'll just draft only the neckline. But because I want this tutorial to be beginner friendly, you get, for you to be able to understand it and know how you're meant to do it. You get? That is why I draft out the 3 inches by 3 inches as a guide, and then I draw out my chest line so that it will guide me to know how deep I want my neckline or the neckline of my client to be, right? So that's why I'm taking it step by step like so. So if you want to draft any of this neckline, I'll advise you take it also step by step too. You will achieve whatever you want to achieve. You don't need to just rush it. Do you get? So now I think I'm drafting asymmetric neckline. So I just mark out my armhole curve like so, and then I'll cut it out. Right? No, not asymmetric. One shoulder neckline. So I'll just first of all cut out this normal neckline. As you can see, I'll just cut it as if I'm cutting just the normal top, 3 inches by 3 inches. I'll just cut it out first. But mind you, what we are cutting is an one shoulder neckline, right? So this is the first thing we are going to do. After putting our measurements, we'll cut it out like so, and then we'll open it up, right? When we open it up now, the armhole length I used is 9 inches. So when you divide it by 2 is 4.5, right? You mark out the 4.5 on the other side of the armhole, and then you connect from the neck down to that line. Can you see what I just did? Now, some clients will want theirs to be either lower or higher. So it all depends on your client. That's why, as a designer, make sure you ask your client every single question. Do you want it tight? Do you want it low? Do you want it high? Do you want it loose? Make sure you ask the basic questions, because no two clients are the same. They might have the same body type or body size, but their preferences are always the same. So as a designer, this is a call for you to always ask your clients whatever they want, and don't decide for your clients. No, allow your clients to make their decision on what they want and stick to it. So this is a one shoulder neckline. So we are going to the next neckline that we're going to be drafting. So guys, the next neckline we'll be making is the U-shaped neckline. So we'll do the same thing that we have been doing. Mark out our shoulder line. Then you mark your shoulder slope, your armhole length, your neck 3 by 3 inches, and then it's time for you to draft out your neckline. Now, just like the name describes, a U-shaped neckline, you know that it's going to have a U shape, and this U-shaped neckline is going to be deep, right? If you want to see the effect very well, it's going to be deep. So you mark out your chest line. As you can see, I just did the chest line of your client, and then you draw it down, right? So now we'll determine our armhole depth, and then we'll just mark a straight line, mark our armhole curve like so, and then now to determine that the U shape, right? We're going to mark out how deep we want the U shape to be. Now I marked 7 inches deep, right? Then I'm going to now connect it with this my curved ruler, right? See how I'm going to place the curved ruler, because it's a U-shaped, so it's going to look like a U, right? So now see, can you see how I did it? I just connected it from that 7 inches upwards. You can see how deep it is, right? So you can make yours deeper. It all depends on your client, right? So these different types of neckline, you can use it to make different outfits. You don't need to stick to one. You don't need to stick to one neckline. You can try out different necklines. It will make your outfit come out really nice and unique too. You get? So now this is how our U-shaped neckline is. Can you see how it is? It's looking so lovely, so lovely, right? So this is a U-shaped neckline. So the next neckline we'll be working with is the boat neckline. So we'll do the same thing that we've been doing. So I'm trying to show you that in this new neckline, you can decide to come lower than your chest line. It all depends on you. You can decide to go lower. You can decide to go higher, just on your preference and your client's preference. Whatever rocks your boat. Do you get? So it's time for us to create now the boat neckline. Please, if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please pause the video and subscribe. There are lots of tutorials every day. I post tutorials that are beginner friendly, that are easy to understand, right? So we'll mark out our normal basic measurement for the neck. Then I'll just draw it out like so, and then we're going to mark out our armhole, our armhole depth. So this armhole depth, it depends. There's a video on my YouTube that also shows how to take body measurements. It also shows you how to take your armhole measurement, right? So if you don't know the armhole of your client, or if you don't know your armhole, you can measure your client's armhole, right? So now for this boat neckline, I went up by 1 inch. After marking that 3 inches wide, 3 inches deep, right? And I went up by 1 inch. Why? Because if you see the boat neckline is not so deep. It's not deep at all. A boat neckline is not deep. Is high, and then is kind of wide. If you look at the picture of a boat neckline, right? So I didn't go through the whole armhole kini again. No, I just went down to business, right? So as I was saying, the boat neckline is usually high and then wider. Can you see? So you can decide to make yours wider than this. I just use 3 cm wide for this, right? But you can decide to do yours 4 cm, depends. But the boat neckline is higher. So can you see how it's looking? So this is the boat neckline. Can you see the illustration I'm giving you? You can extend it if you want. You get. So now the next neckline is the asymmetrical neckline. So you mark out your shoulder measurements, and then mark your 3 inches wide for the neck area, 3 inches deep, right? So now this asymmetric measurement, mind you, generally to make a neckline for a client, you need to ask your client how deep, how wide. You need to ask all these questions when your client comes in for inquiry, right? You need to ask how wide, how deep do you want it? Do you want it this wide? Do you want it deep? Do you want it shallow? Just ask the questions, all right? Then if your client tells you to use your discretion, that's different, but you need to ask first. So now I marked out my 3 inches wide and 3 inches deep, and I didn't cut it. As you can see, I just cut out the shoulder slope, right? So I'm going to just complete the line so that it will show in front very well. This is 3 inches wide, 3 inches deep, just the neck area part. So now I want to determine how deep is going to be. Do you get? I want to determine how deep the side of the asymmetrical neckline is going to be and how wide is going to be. So that's why I'm opening it up. So if you're making an outfit for a client, right, most times what I do is, when I'm done joining the pieces of my bodies, of the front of my bodies, that's when I cut my neckline most times. Do you get? So if it's a neckline that you've not done before, I'll advise you, first of all, cut it on paper before you cut it on your client's clothes. Now I'm just trying to determine how deep I want the neckline to be. Can you see? I'm just trying to mark it out to know how deep it will look. I marked out 5 inches and I saw that it wasn't so deep, and then I'm remarking it again, as you can see. Can you see? So I came down now by 6 inches, and then I just curved it to touch the other neckline, right? Can you see how I just did it? And I went in. So you have to draft it first on paper. That's why I always advise that. So guys, this is how I just drew it. Can you see? I came down by almost 6.5. You get? I came down by almost 6.5. Now you can decide to make yours deeper. You can decide to make yours wider. It just depends on you and your client. So this is how I achieved my asymmetric neckline. So we're almost done with this tutorial. There are other types of neckline. There are 1,000,001 necklines. So these are just the few that I thought to just show us how to draft them. So the last one we'll be drafting is the split neckline. This one is rampant now, because most boo-boo dresses, most boo-boo dresses, they use this neckline. And then most simple A-shaped gowns, they use this neckline too. It's just very easy. All of them are kind of easy, but this is trending now, this split neckline. Yes, because we're in the boo-boo era, so it's trending. And most simple ready to wear A-line Ankara dresses, they carry this neckline too. So it's very simple. Now I've drafted out my basic neckline, 3 inches wide, 3 inches deep, and then I'm going to mark it like so. Now I'm going to determine how deep I want my split neckline to be. I'm marking out my chest line, as you can see. Now I want it to be above my chest line, right? So I'm just going to first of all cut out the neckline, and then cut out my shoulder slope. Can you see? Then I'll open it up like so, and then I'm going to determine how deep I want it to be. Now I'm going to mark 6 inches, right? I want it to be above my chest line. Mark out my 6 inches, and then I'm just going to create like a V-shape, just create something like a V shape to touch that my 3 inches deep round neckline, right? And we are done. So you just cut it out like so. Can you see? So we are done. So guys, these are the different necklines. You can choose any of them and use for your outfit. So guys, if this tutorial is or was helpful to you, please click on the subscription button, like, share, and comment. See you guys on my next tutorial video, and thanks for watching. Bye.